Well, before we get started here with the governor, I want to first thank the Montana Bankers Association. The Montana Bankers Association has worked not only their board meeting, but they also have their executive development program to coincide with the Montana Chamber of Commerce Business Days at the Capitol. And Carrie Hagerberg and I are good friends, and we are increasingly working together, and we've got a great collaborative effort. And one of the beautiful things I think about our relationship is that the bankers in Montana have the same vision that like the Montana Chamber of Commerce has, which is we all want to see Montana succeed. And if Montana succeeds and does well, then our financial institutions succeed and do well. And so I want to thank you, Carrie, and those of you that are part of the Montana Bankers Association board and that executive leadership training. Would you please stand so we can acknowledge you and thank you for being with us today? It's a great example of how some of these associations work together and don't compete. And so I want to thank Kerry, too, for his leadership and his friendship. I also want to thank the Northern News Network, Taylor Brown and Courtney Kibblewhite and Tom Schultz. They've been reporting live from here for the last couple of days. Thank you, Taylor. Appreciate your support. And Tom at the back of the room. Courtney over here is on our board. And gosh, you know, it's great to have that sort of presence at the Montana Chamber of Business of Commerce, you know, where they're broadcasting throughout the state live while they were here. And so thank you for your support, Taylor, Courtney, and Tom. We really appreciate it. I also recognize something I thought was kind of interesting the other day. We've got several manufacturers here, but two of our arguable best manufacturers that we have in the state, Brian Wood and Tom Spica, both have their right-hand man with them in attendance, and it's their daughters. So thank you. This is the next generation, and it is the women that are going to start leading Montana back into the future, and we are glad that Brian and Tom, both of you are here along with your daughters, so thank you. Well, as I get ready to introduce the individual that needs no introduction, I think it's important to reflect back on where we were this time last year. And having worked in a transition team for a governor's office back in the 2000s and seeing that sort of hectic pace and having to put together a budget so quickly after winning an election, and then try to put your leadership team in place, and then have a legislative session thrown on top of you, I think there's a lot of people that kind of had a relatively low bar set for a first-year governor. And Governor Gianforte didn't let all of those sort of extra duties get in the way. He came into office charging hard and had an incredibly successful tenure or first legislative session. And so we can only imagine, now that he's truly got time to prepare for the 2023 session, what we're going to be able to do in 2023. And the Montana Chamber of Commerce had probably the most successful legislative session we've ever had in our history. I mean, we knocked down some great bills that were super for Montana businesses. And as I noted at the beginning, these weren't just bills that are important for certain sectors of Montana. These weren't bills that were just important for large business. These were bills that affected every single business in the state of Montana, improving our business climate, a clear focus and part of our strategic plan. So thank you, Governor Gianforte, for kicking us off with a great start at the beginning of your term. Most of you know that one of the things that the Montana Chamber of Commerce does during every legislative session is we identify bills that we think are particularly good, positive, pro-business sort of bills. And then we grade legislators on how they voted on those bills. And then at the end of the legislative session, Bridger Mallon will spend a tremendous amount of time compiling the results of the various votes and committee and on the floor and throughout the entire session to come up with who champions of business are for the state of Montana. And so we awarded our champions of business after the conclusion of the 2021 legislative session. One of the other things that we also do is that we also grade the governor. And it should come as no surprise, the governor graded very well. In fact, if we were math teachers, he would get an A+ because he graded a perfect 100% score. So please, welcome, Governor, would you please join me? So as a token of that accomplishment, the Montana Chamber of Commerce, we have a 2021 Champion of Business pin that we give to legislators, and we're proud to give it to you, Governor. And this is on behalf of not just the 2,000 members of the Montana Chamber of Commerce, but on behalf of the entire business community. So thank you for your support.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you.
Stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Todd. It's great to be with you. That's a terrific honor, and I want to thank all of you at the Chamber for our collaboration and teamwork. It was almost 4 years ago, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce presented me with their Spirit of Enterprise Award in Kalispell, and for the work we did in Congress to promote business, growth, and jobs. That was special, but this pin is even more special. Thank you so much. I want to say at the outset here that serving as Montana's governor is the greatest honor of my life. I love the work. This past year, I got to all 56 counties. As I say often, the truth doesn't live in Helena. It's in the coffee shops and county courthouses all over this state. And I just finished that tour this past fall. I'm looking forward to getting out again. And serving as your governor and working alongside the legislature, we've really started to unleash the incredible potential that we have in Montana for economic growth, business development, job creation that for too long has just sputtered. And I'm proud of the work we've done so far on this agenda. But before I talk about it, I just want to thank a couple folks. First, I want to thank Todd for your leadership here at the Chamber. You're an outstanding partner in this work to make Montana more pro-business. Second, I want to thank the staff at the Chamber for their dedication to the mission that we share and for putting together this exceptional business days at the Capitol. It's really important that we bring the business community together. And finally, I want to thank each one of you because it's not government that creates jobs and economic flourishing. It's the private sector. You are the job creators. You are the innovators. You are the risk takers. You invest in Montana and our people, and you strengthen our communities across this entire state. You are the men and women who drive our economy and create greater opportunities for Montanans to prosper. And just as Todd said, that's our goal, is to help Montanans prosper. And what we've been able to accomplish in the last year would not have been possible with each one of you. So thank you. You came to the Capitol, you wrote letters, you testified, you made calls, you advocated for our shared pro-growth, pro-jobs agenda, and without your hard work and dedication, we could not have had the successes that we did have. I ask you today to stay engaged because our work is not done. Continue to make your voice heard. I know that together we share this common goal to make Montana an even better place to live, work, raise a family, and pursue the American dream. And together, we are making Montana a sanctuary for freedom and the free market. And I think that's a goal we could share. And it's why it's important that we have events like this, the Business Days at the Capitol, where we can come together, share the successes we enjoy, and talk about the challenges we face, because there's more work to be done. And I think we can continue to find more opportunities for Montanans. It's been just over a year since I was sworn in to serve this great state. And as I mentioned at the beginning, this is really the honor of my life. Our charge was clear. We campaigned on bringing business experience to the governor's office to lead the Montana comeback. We laid out our agenda in the Montana Comeback Plan. We committed to getting our economy going again, getting Montana businesses open again, getting Montanans back to work, and changing how Helena does business, all while protecting our families, our communities, and our Montana way of life. With the support of Montanans from Ekalaka to Eureka and Plentywood to Polaris, we rolled up our sleeves on the morning after Election Day, got to work, and started assembling a team of change agents, many of whom you got to visit with yesterday. And working closely with the legislators, the chamber, and you, I'm proud of the great progress we made in leading Montana's comeback. And we've made great progress, all while confronting a very serious challenge. Then, as now, COVID-19 has seriously impacted so many Montanans' lives, all of us really. Admittedly, my first day in office looked a little different than my predecessors. We had a pandemic to navigate. Montanans look to us with a fundamental question. Will the state continue the top-down government mandates, or will it change course to allow Montanans to make the best decisions for themselves, their loved ones, and their communities? We chose the latter, and will continue to choose freedom over the heavy hand of government. COVID remains a serious concern, though we're not in the same place we were a year ago. We have more tools at our disposal now, including vaccines and treatments to prevent severe health outcomes and to treat Montanans who become infected. Today, we confront a new surge with the Omicron variant, and I'm announcing that we're adding another tool to the toolbox today. Our administration recently, just this past week, secured approximately 650,000 at-home COVID rapid antigen tests. Testing is a critical tool to help people stay safe with early detection. These tests will be available at no cost to Montanans. As we have seen too often, the federal government's response has fallen short. In the end, it took President Biden a year to admit this truth. But COVID cannot be solved by the federal government. It's going to take the local community and us working together. There is a national testing shortage as demand has spiked, but the administration in Washington has really failed to deliver on its long-standing promise of free at-home rapid tests. So we acted because hope is not a strategy. And while we've improved the state's response to the virus in the last year, we've focused on getting our economy going, returning to normal, and ending government overreach. With our partners in the legislature, we protected businesses from frivolous lawsuits, including the ones that were initiated by the previous administration here in Helena. We ended arbitrary restrictions on business like hours of operation and capacity limits that were putting Montanans out of work and hanging our small businesses out to dry. We provided clear benchmarks, and when they were met, we ended the statewide mask mandate. We increased local officials' oversight of public health actions in their communities, and I'm proud to say we were the first state in the country to end the federal supplemental unemployment benefits and launched a return to work bonus program so we could get Montanans back to work. We incented work instead of unemployment, and it's working. We've recovered all the jobs we've lost during the pandemic. In just 12 months, our unemployment rate has fallen dramatically, matching the lowest rate recorded in Montana history. By opening Montana for business, we have more Montanans working today than ever in the state's history. But this hasn't just happened. We came in with the Montana Comeback Plan, and we've been executing it. When I was sworn in on January 4th of last year, I laid out 4 core principles that would guide everything we do. And one of those guiding principles is bringing fiscal responsibility back to state government. And I'm proud to report that we're doing just that. Our budget held the line on new general fund spending, and we reduced the overall budget by $145 million than the budget that was given to us. In total, our full biennium budget grows less than 1% per year, including the investments we made and the statutory increases that we had to include. Another of those guiding principles is changing how Helena does business, because it's not just about dollars and cents. It's also about putting customer service in all of our state agencies at the forefront. It's about listening to our boss, which is the citizens of Montana. And it's about being responsive to them. And it's about being willing to change what doesn't work, from permitting to regulations to how we operate for Montanans. Another guiding principle is protecting our Montana way of life. We're expanding access to public lands. We're making our state safer by cracking down on drug dealers and helping those battling addiction. We're prioritizing aggressive initial attack against wildfires to better protect people, property, and resources. And we're expanding active forest management. I'm proud to report we doubled the number of acres under active forest management in 2021 over 2020. The first guiding principle I described when I was sworn in was growing our economy and creating more good-paying jobs. For too long, Montana hasn't been living up to our full outstanding potential. We've seen jobs and opportunities grow in other states while they haven't here. As a result, too many families have seen our kids and our grandkids have to choose between staying here with the people they love or going somewhere else for a better job. Too many choose to leave. I know Susan and I, 3 of our 4 kids don't live in the state anymore, so this is personal for me, and I know for many of you as well. Over the past year, we've helped make that decision to stay easier. We've created better opportunities here. We've made Montana more competitive. Back in June, we launched our Come Home Montana campaign to bring our kids and grandkids back to Montana. When they return to Montana, they bring their families and jobs with them. Our communities will be better off and our way of life protected. So how do we get our kids and grandkids back or make their decision to stay easier? It's pretty simple. We need to make Montana more competitive. And that's what was at the core of the Montana Comeback Plan. Just as at the core of the Chamber's Envision 2026 initiative. Both provide a roadmap to sustain prosperity and opportunity for Montanans. So how have we made Montana more competitive following these roadmaps? First, we cut income taxes, making our rates more competitive with our neighbors in the Rocky Mountain West. Working with our partners in the legislature, we enacted one of the largest tax cuts in Montana's history. Ultimately, this isn't government's money. It's the money of hardworking Montanans who earned it. Our tax cut will let Montanans keep more of what they earn, providing $120 million in broad-based tax relief over the next 2 years. The tax cut will help sole proprietors and other small business owners keep more of what they earn and invest it back in their businesses. We plan to make more tax cuts in future legislatures to make Montana even more competitive and continue to provide Montanans with relief. We also reformed our tax code to help Main Street businesses thrive and create more good-paying jobs. We tripled the business equipment tax exemption to $300,000, a move that will encourage businesses to invest in Montana, grow their companies, and create more jobs. This act alone took thousands of Montana businesses off the business equipment tax rolls completely. Many farmers and ranchers across Montana end up paying essentially an annual sales tax on their balance sheet for equipment that sits idle 10 months of the year, and it's not right. Tripling the exemption goes a long way to protecting the bottom lines of producers working in our state's #1 industry, ag. Before signing the Business Investment Grows Jobs Act at the Golden Triangle Brewing Company in Fort Benton, I heard about how that was going to help them expand their business. And after I signed the bill over a beer, the owner said, "Cheers to years of great beers." Ultimately, over my tenure, I'd like to see a day here in Montana where no business in Montana is forced to pay the business equipment tax. Montana is a national leader in entrepreneurship. Just yesterday, the Secretary of State Christy Jacobson and I announced that Montana saw record business creation in 2021. Last year, over 50,000 new businesses were registered in the state of Montana, a 31% increase over 2020, which was also the previous record. But we know we can do more to promote entrepreneurship. Working with the legislature, we created incentives for entrepreneurial development in Montana with the Entrepreneur Magnet. The Entrepreneur Magnet encourages businesses to grow here or be created here, to bring good paying jobs to Montana and stay in Montana, becoming part of our communities. Now, with the Entrepreneur Magnet in place, if you start and grow a business in Montana, there will be no tax on the sale of employee-owned stock. You get to keep all of what you create. The equation's pretty simple. Entrepreneurs create businesses, and businesses create jobs. So the conclusion is we need more entrepreneurs if we want more jobs. That's why, as an entrepreneur myself, I'm so enthusiastic about the Chamber's Prospects project. Developed by the Chamber, the entrepreneurial competition helps develop and empower students to reach their full potential. I'd like to see more youth entrepreneurs in all 56 of our counties. I think working together we can make that happen. Because everybody wins when we instill an entrepreneurial spirit in our future workforce. As much as our tax cuts and tax reforms will help hardworking Montanans and business owners, we also recognize the state's regulatory scheme has been a wet blanket on job creation and in need of overhaul. And we're committed to getting rid of that wet blanket and the friction that state regulations cause for small business by cutting red tape and reforming, rolling back, and repealing unnecessary and burdensome regulations that are tying up our small businesses. That's why on my second day in office, we launched the Red Tape Relief Task Force. Lieutenant Governor Kristen Juris is leading the charge, conducting a top-to-bottom review of every regulation in every agency statewide. The Red Tape Relief Task Force is leaving no stone unturned, from bureaucratic processes to permitting hurdles. And as the Lieutenant Governor reminds me, there's no quick fix after decades of lip service to red tape relief. Effective long-term solutions are part of a marathon, not a sprint. But I can attest to you, the Lieutenant Governor is keeping a record-breaking pace in reviewing all these regulations, and we'll get rid of the ones that don't make sense. In the last year, we worked with the Chamber and our partners in the legislature to make employment law more predictable for both employees and employers. We reformed the Wrongful Discharge Act, which for too long discouraged new business development in Montana. We also passed Tort Reform, dealing with medical expense recoveries in personal injury lawsuits. This change will bring needed stability to liability costs and insurance premiums for Montana businesses. But it's not just about cutting taxes, boosting entrepreneurship, and cutting red tape. It's about ensuring Montana workers have the tools they need to succeed and thrive. The fact is, a 4-year college is not for everyone. Many new, good-paying jobs require specialized skills, and we are empowering our workforce with those in-demand skills. We created the Montana Trades Education Credit, which will boost trades education by funding as many as 1,000 scholarships each year. And this is in the form of a tax credit to businesses. We'll pay up to $3,000 per employee per year, up to $25,000 per employer if you choose to invest in your employees to gain trades education. Using the credit, employers and employees can decide on the training that's best for business and the employee. To expand our highly skilled workforce, we also proposed a rule to flip the apprentice to journeyman ratio here in Montana. With our change, one journeyman can supervise 2 apprentices instead of the other way around. This modernization will bring us in line with neighboring states and will dramatically increase apprenticeship opportunities for hardworking Montanans to meet the current and future workforce needs. We're very acutely aware of the housing shortage. We need electricians and plumbers and carpenters. This apprenticeship change is going to help. We're also working with our 2- and 4-year colleges to help Montana businesses meet their workforce needs by customizing education to build workforce pipelines. In addition to empowering our workforce with in-demand skills, we're empowering our kids with greater educational opportunities as well. We gave local school districts increased flexibility to adopt new innovative curriculum. We made it easier for parents to pursue the best education available for their children. We provided incentives to boost starting teacher pay in Montana. Taken together, these efforts will pay dividends. Our kids will have greater opportunities to learn, thrive, and reach their full potential, and Montana will be better off. Despite our successes, our growing economy, and our historically low unemployment rate, Montana isn't shielded from the challenges that our nation faces. Once in a generation, inflation is stretching Montana's paychecks thinner and thinner, making it harder for them to fill up the tank, buy groceries, and heat their homes. And like businesses across the country, Montana employers struggle to find qualified candidates for open positions. Nationwide and here at home, demand for housing has outstripped supply, driving up costs and making it harder for young Montana families to become homeowners. After years of Band-Aids, our aging water and sewer infrastructure requires modernization. Too many Montanans also do not have access to rural broadband. To address these challenges, we're building critical public-private partnerships to close the skilled labor gap so we can ramp up housing capacity, get fiber in the ground, and modernize the state's water and sewer infrastructure. Building and maintaining reliable infrastructure is a bedrock of a growing, thriving economy. That's why we're making responsible, long-term investments to build and rebuild our infrastructure. Because the digital divide is so vast, we're investing $275 million to provide Montanans with access to reliable broadband. We target all of that money being allocated by June of this year. Greater access to broadband will increase opportunities for Montanans, whether in ag or high tech or other industries, but we need to get more fiber in the ground, and we'll do it. Our landmark investment in broadband expansion not only connects households to high-quality opportunities in employment, healthcare, and education, but also ensures that businesses in every part of Montana can grow and prosper in our 21st century. In addition to investments in broadband expansion, we're also investing nearly $440 million for water and sewer infrastructure projects throughout the state. Montana is leading the nation in making critical water and sewer infrastructure investments, with more than 80% of them supporting our rural communities. With funds devoted towards constructing new systems, improving existing ones, more Montana communities will have access to reliable, sustainable water and wastewater systems. These are big projects that will help Montana now and for decades to come. Just to wrap up, over the last year, we've been presented with opportunities to help Montana realize our full outstanding potential, and we have seized them. We followed our steady, principled course. We reopened Montana for business. We enacted our pro-jobs, pro-growth agenda to complement the unmatched work ethic of Montanans. But our work is not done, and I want you to hear very clearly, we're just getting started. We have many more opportunities before us. Before we know it, the 2023 legislative session will be upon us, where we'll continue to work together with the Chamber and all stakeholders to build on the great success we've enjoyed so far and to address the most pressing issues of our time. That's why we'll continue working with Republicans and Democrats and independents. We'll continue working with our dedicated state employees. We'll continue working with stakeholders, and we'll continue working with you. We'll continue working with anyone who cares about the future of Montana and who wants to leave our state better than we found it. Friends, I'm enthusiastic about the future of Montana. Through our continued partnership, I have full confidence that we'll meet the challenges of today while also building a stronger, more competitive Montana for the future.
Thank you so much, Governor. You know, we hear a lot from our counterparts in other states how fortunate we are to have access to our elected officials, and this is proof right here, what's happened the last couple days. We don't take this for granted, and we're very thankful for Governor Gianforte being here today. Thank you so much, and for his cabinet being here yesterday. So greatly appreciate all that. As we wrap up here, one more thank you to all of our sponsors. All of their names have been going up on the screen during our lunch, so we're very thankful for every single one of our sponsors. And one thing that is going on is that one of our staff here at the Chamber, Kim Casey, has been here for 3 years, and she's taking on a new challenge. And is Kim in the room? She may have. She's hiding. Oh, but the board of directors wanted to thank you, and we got you some flowers. So thank you very much for all your service. So please travel home safely and save the date for Business Days at the Capitol in 2023. Wow, that's crazy to say. It will be Monday and Tuesday, January 2nd and 3rd, so ring in the new year and then come to Helena. Please check our website in the coming weeks for all the videos and presentations from this event, and thank you for being with us the past 24 hours. We appreciate your time and your commitment to the state of Montana. Have a great day.